Welcome to the Eagle Room. My name is Matt Williams, and I am producing Everyone Everywhere, the new record with Andrew Scotchie and the River Rats. Okay, so the Eagle Room here is a space that was created for working musicians to be able to produce professional records at a rate that they could afford. And being a working musician myself, I play a lot of different instruments and I play a lot of different styles. I felt the need to create this space. Basically, I started out in this scene by playing with lots of different types of artists, different types of musicians, and playing different styles of music with the different instruments, and met so many amazing people and saw the talent that was in this region. And I was asked by several of these artists to produce records for them, and I would go to different studios and produce. So a little over 10 years ago, I decided to buy a house and frame in some walls and create this space so that we could work on our music together here in the Eagle Room. A couple great things about this space, the Eagle Room, is that it has a very warm and comfortable vibe because it's in a home. And I think that that inviting vibe helps the artists feel at home when they're here making music, and they don't feel that it's a stiff or stale environment, and they can just focus on their art. And that's what I'm here to do too. And some tools to help us with that are all this front end outboard gear. I'm not sure how much of you can see in the frame, but there's a Studer 900 series console here and a bunch of outboard gear. And I'm old school in the fact that I like to use a lot of front end compression and EQ on the sounds and just kind of put my sonic fingerprint on it, if you will, in that way. So no matter what kind of music I'm helping create with different artists here in the Eagle Room, it always has kind of a heavier front end, and that sonic aesthetic is something that you can hear no matter what style it is you're listening to if it was made in the Eagle Room. You know, punchy drums in general, big fat warm sounds, you know, and I just like to get as much of that as I can on the front end with these tools. So that's something about the Eagle Room that makes it stand out, is we're able to, you know, mix down in analog too if we would like, and we can really get the aesthetic exactly what we want it to be. This is the third record that I've produced with Andrew Scotchie and the River Rats here in the Eagle Room, and Everyone Everywhere is just next level. It's the next level of this band's wonderful music, and I believe that the essence of the songs were just so strong from the moment that I was attending the rehearsals and we were working out things like song form and some of the arrangements and specifics. We got together on our vision of what that was going to be earlier in the process than ever before, and I think that is what allowed us to take the music further than it ever has before also. So before we brought the music in, we really worked out what we wanted each song to sound like. We talked about some of the sonic aesthetics and how to use the tools in the studio to create that. We did some things that we've done in the past that worked well for us, like the mid-side recording technique, where you use one mic to listen forward and one to listen sideways, so it gives Andrew's guitar a very three-dimensional sound and makes that core trio as big as it can sound with the drums and the bass and the guitar. And that's really the heart of Andrew's music and the River Rats sound. And then with this record, we also enhanced that and augmented it by bringing in Lenny Pettinelli on keyboards to stretch out that sonic environment. And he also commissioned me to do strings for the title track and do a string arrangement for Everyone Everywhere. And that was just so much fun to augment some of these elements that we had discussed back in the rehearsal room and hear them come to life and frame these parts of the composition with the strings and utilize that big anthemic sound that they can give it to create this wonderful juxtaposition of this three-piece rock band and bring in the big grandness of the music with the strings and just support one another. And so I think it just turned out so great, and you're gonna love it. So please check out Everyone Everywhere.
What is your favorite song off Everyone Everywhere, Matt?
Whew. Okay, that's a tough one because they're all really good songs. But I feel like my favorite song, if I had to just pick one, I really like Human 2. Human 2 is my favorite song because it speaks to the band's awareness of that Everyone Everywhere is going through different things, and it's the perfect song on the record that has its own voice and has its own really unique vibe. The way that the chords are colored, it has its own unique vibe, so it stands out just tonality wise. But In addition to that, it kind of is a glue between some of the more psychedelic tracks and some of the more like pop tracks like Natural Romantic, which has a lot of fun. So Human 2 has elements of that fun, but elements of that psychedelica and some of that rock. And it brings it together. And like I said, it speaks for the band's awareness that everyone everywhere is going through lots of different things. So it touches on the theme of the record. And, you know, no matter who you are or what you're going through, if you have any kind of feelings at all, it makes you human too. And that's something that we talked about a lot when we were working on the track, and I think that it really came out strong.